Good afternoon, everybody. It is Tuesday, April 22nd, 2025. I am a logical lefty. Welcome to the show. Um, I got some very important news stories that I want to talk about. I want to share with you today. We've got Elon Musk, maybe on his way out. Ooh. Oh, well then.
Elon, Elon.
Okay. I don't want to hear that Musk is on his way out. I want to be sure he's gone, preferably for good. Well, you will be slightly disappointed today. Nonetheless, he will be gone sooner or later, guaranteed. So, anyway, we'll get into the details there. We have Trump possibly replacing Pete Hegseth, another person who might be on his way out. We have Fox News versus people who are worried about their retirement. Yeah, you're not going to believe that one, or actually, you probably will. RFK Jr. Made some pretty ridiculous statements about autism and autistic people. I know that happened last week, but I still want to talk about it. Very important to do so. And then finally, some good news concerning the woman who was dragged out of an Idaho town hall, a Republican town hall. Little bit of vengeance on her behalf. So should be fun. Okay, so that said, we've got that on the show. So why don't we dive into it? But before I do, please like and share the stream. Very important that you do so. Again, it helps us out greatly. I want to thank a couple of members here, Timothy M. And Mithril, for joining, for becoming, or I should say rejoining membership on YouTube. Thank you. You can join as a member by hitting the join button below. If you are on YouTube, if you're on the other platforms, there are other various ways that you can support the channel as well, and support what we're doing here, which is trying to inform people and do so in a way that is a little bit entertaining. So we're trying here. All right. So with that, another way that you can support us, of course, is through our Patreon, patreon.com/jeffwaldorf, and of course on Facebook, you can become a subscriber and support what we do here as well. All right. So that said, diving in, start with Elon Musk. Okay. Hold on here.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Down goes Elon Musk? Well, not yet. Not yet, but close. Apparently, the chief twit is tired of being the bad guy and is getting ready to leave his government role. This is at least according to a report from the Washington Post, who said that Musk is tired of what he sees as, quote, vicious and unethical attacks from the left. So, first of all, blaming this all on the left is completely ignoring the criticism coming from, of course, people who have been affected by the Doge cuts. Okay. And it's not just the left that has been affected by the Doge cuts. Okay. And so all this, stuff that's going on with the different agencies that are closing down. You also have, the U.S. aid that was closed down that bought a lot of, uh, like vegetables or agricultural products from farmers who are generally Trump supporters, not all of them. And so the damage that Elon Musk has done is, well, long lasting. Let's just say that. Quite long lasting. Okay. And so, look, calling it, the left, absolutely ridiculous. It's about as dumb as calling things, caring about people, the woke mind virus. Okay. Absolutely ridiculous. But anyway, as far as unethical goes, really? You want to talk about unethical? Oh, it's unethical to criticize me. What? No, it's hilarious. No, I love making fun of Elon Musk, and I will not stop. Can't stop, won't stop. Even when he's gone. And look, here's the thing, though. Okay, I'm not talking about the vandalism of Teslas or anything. Let's be very, very clear about that. Okay, but making fun of Elon Musk online is great. The peaceful protests that have been held against him and Doge is great, and that's because he has such an incredibly thin skin. Okay, he's so paper soft. Okay, like seriously, velvety. Okay, very, very thin skinned, very easy to trigger, easy to upset. And he wants everyone to think that no, it is I who are upsetting you. It is you that is triggered, sir. No. No, not at all. It's again absolutely hilarious. But here's the thing, though. Okay, he is set to leave anyway. His special government employee status expires at the end of next month. So either way, he's out the door. Okay, but that said, his influence in the administration is not what it used to be. It wasn't, because he used to have a lot more sway in the administration because he gave over $250 million towards Donald Trump's reelection. But since then, that has waned. Okay. And part of that is people disagreeing with him, obviously. But then, of course, you also have him trying and failing to buy the Wisconsin Supreme Court seat. So that's a big hit against him. Okay. And he's also extremely unpopular with the American people. And that is reflecting poorly on Donald Trump. And that's something that Donald Trump does not like. Okay. And there are other examples, by the way. The New York Times reported last week that the acting commissioner of the IRS was being replaced after Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent complained that Musk had his preferred candidate installed without Bessent's support. So the internal fighting that is happening in the Trump administration is fantastic. Everybody is trying to jockey themselves into a more powerful or better position. And it's basically it's dog eat dog there. Okay. They're not cohesive. They're all trying to get something from Trump. Okay. All trying to get something. Now, Musk has also annoyed other cabinet members by failing to coordinate with them in these so-called cost-cutting moves, which, by the way, they're not really saving the American people money. They're actually spending more money. Doge has actually been incredibly expensive because they've got six-figure incomes. The people that are working for Doge, and again, their savings are basically non-existent. Disastrous. Now, another reason Musk is looking forward to hitting the exit, his company, Tesla's not doing very well. So he's got several companies, but Tesla kind of his baby in a way. I guess more so SpaceX than Tesla being his baby because he bought Tesla from someone else. And that's something that you don't hear really a lot about. The fact that his company, that company, was started by other people. And that he just came in and bought it and then took all the, took all their success, basically, at that point. So now Tesla, according to Wedbush Securities analyst Dan Ives, is facing a code red moment. Code red. Musk needs to leave government, take a major step back on Doge, and get back to being CEO of Tesla full time, Ives wrote to his clients on Sunday, according to Bloomberg. Tesla is Musk, and Musk is Tesla. And anyone who thinks the brand damage Musk has inflicted is not a real thing, spend some time speaking to car buyers in the US, Europe, and Asia. The three major car markets. Yeah, especially for EVs. And you will think differently after those discussions. Tesla has unfortunately become a political symbol globally of the Trump administration / Doge. Ives added, going on to argue that the company faces potentially 15% to 20% permanent demand destruction for future Tesla buyers due to the brand damage Musk has created with Doge. Now, it's not just the brand damage as well, but he's just making crappier cars. I mean, you look at the Cybertruck, they're like gluing on the fenders, the quarter panels, and they're falling off. They've been recalled like 8 times, 7 or 8 times, I think. And so they keep getting recalled for ridiculous things because they're not built very well. Whereas European cars built much better. Hate to say it, but they are built much better. So the EVs, and by the way, they're also domestic car makers, the Ford, Chevy, etc., that are also making better EVs. That's it. And so that's a big part of their problem. So it's not just the brand damage, it's also their cars suck. All right. Now, anyway, the Post also revealed that some officials had refused to comply with Elon Musk's requirement that federal employees send weekly emails listing 5 things that they did the previous week. So that's part of his waning influence. Just 2 days after Musk's order was issued on February 22nd, the Office of Personnel Management stated in a briefing for human resources officers that participation was voluntary, and not doing so would not be considered a resignation. An email obtained by the Post shows. So Musk came out and said, well, if you don't send me 5 things that you have done, I will consider this a resignation. And then immediately got undercut. Like, no, he doesn't actually mean that. That we're not doing that. All right, just go back to work. All right, do your thing. The email also said the office didn't intend to do anything with the messages, and so the agencies are essentially back to doing their own thing, with most of them no longer requiring the emails. There are a small number of departments that thought, this might be a good idea after all. They follow the mandate, while others do require the emails but do not follow up to check for compliance or track responses in a way that employees have noticed. Many of those still sending those emails are sending similar messages each week or are viewing them as a joke, because it is a joke. Elon Musk is a joke. Donald Trump is a joke. Unfortunately, it's one of the ones that are not funny, so that's how you can tell it's right-wing comedy. Nobody's laughing. Except for the people that are laughing at Elon Musk. But that said, Musk leaving the government is not going to fix his problems. He has done too much damage. People know too much about him. Way too much about him. Like his weird, legion of babies that he's trying to build with different women, different baby mamas to bring them into a compound. This is like Waco all over again. Okay? Shit's gonna get weird if that happens. If he brings women to his compound. Okay? That's never good. He has killed pretty much all of the goodwill that he had amassed over the years from the very customer base that actually helped make him rich. And by the way, let's be honest, most of the money that Elon Musk has amassed is actually through government contracts, government spending, through SpaceX mainly. But still, his customer base, you ain't got conservatives out there that are rushing in to buy electric vehicles. Just saying. So, look, while he may be leaving the administration, well, he will be at least by next month, he still is the recipient of a ton of government money. So, and he has set it up to where he's going to continue to get that sweet, sweet government cash. Talking Points memo reported that Musk is working with Palantir and Enderal. Okay, one of those Palantirs, the Peter Thiel, that company, based on terrible things from the Lord of the Rings, to try to build Donald Trump's Golden Dome. Of course it has to be golden. Everything's got to be golden. Surprised the showers aren't. Oh, no. Let's not go there.
Sexual anarchy.
Not interested in that. But this apparently this Golden Dome would be a fleet of surveillance and attack satellites, which is, why? Why would you need that? You don't. But Musk and Teo proposed making this network of hundreds of satellites into, guess what? A subscription service. Prescription. We're all going to need one. But apparently this subscription service that the Musk, Teo, plus Lucky Consortium would own and the Pentagon would subscribe to. Oh, yes. What happens if you don't pay your Golden Dome bill? Your subscription for that month? Would you stop working, or does it shoot missiles into the country? These are important questions, okay, that need to be asked. Some Pentagon officials have expressed concern internally about relying on the subscription-based model for any part of the Golden Dome. Two sources told Reuters, such an arrangement would be unusual for such a large and critical defense program. So if they manage to get a subscription model for this Golden Dome, what hope do we have of having normal things that are not subject to having to pay subscriptions? Like what's next? Anybody who drives a Tesla got to pay the subscription to use the frickin' brakes? Oh, yeah, well, that's going to turn out great. But you know what? They probably want to do that. And maybe I should stop giving them ideas. This guy. I mean, look, it's all about making sure that Musk and his friends continue to get more and more money from the federal government as he continues to lose actual customers. Okay. And this is even after he leaves government. He's setting this up. He's setting himself up to keep that, sweet, sweet taxpayer money coming into his businesses. And he's hoping that he can disappear back into the bushes to avoid the smoke of being the public face of Donald Trump, the Trump administration's disastrous cuts. I do not believe it is going to work. In fact, I hope that it fails. Oy. All right, let us move on to another possible exit. We got people leaving out the frickin' door. And I say, good. Okay. Following even more damning revelations about Pete Hegseth's use of Signal to discuss war plans, with his wife and his brother in the chat, the White House appears to be searching for a replacement. This is according to a U.S. official speaking to NPR on Monday. Now, on Sunday, the New York Times revealed that second Signal chat, yes, a second Signal chat has hit Pete Hegseth. Now, it revealed in that report that Hegseth texted his wife and brother details of this military strike on Yemen last month. An official told NPR that Hegseth had shared the classified information on Signal, not using his government device, but his personal cell phone, which I'm pretty sure is not secure. Okay. Now, the NPR report comes on the heels of a slew of different scandals that have embroiled Hegseth, including the departure of 4 senior advisors, some of whom had left their roles as part of an investigation into press leaks, as well as him being a functional alcoholic. I'm not sure how functional, but functional, I suppose, is the right way to phrase that. But not only that, the New Yorker had obtained records back in December from 2 nonprofit advocacy groups that Hegseth had led, Veterans for Freedom and Concerned Veterans for America, that accused him of financial mismanagement. Ah, yes, good old fraud. Unwanted sexual advances while he was married. And of course, drunken behavior. That included him yelling, "Kill all the Muslims" at a bar while on tour in Ohio. Ah, yes, of course. An ex-relative also submitted a letter under oath claiming that he had once received a lap dance while in his military uniform. Of course, that said, the official word from Donald Trump, even after all that, is that I'm still standing behind Pete because Pete's a good guy. White House Press Secretary Carolyn Leavitt disputed NPR's reporting, because of course she did, calling it, quote unquote, fake news based on one anonymous source who clearly has no idea what they're talking about. You know what I think? He's done. He's done. Now, you send out propaganda Barbie to call it fake news. When that happens, you know he's done. You know he's done. Okay. Trump also said the report about Hegseth's alleged text to his wife and his brother were, again, fake news and a waste of time. Pete's doing a great job. Everybody's happy with him. We just have the best recruitment numbers, I think, we've had in 28 years. It's just fake news. What? Now, look, he is right about one thing. The things that Trump is saying right now, that's the fake news. That's the fake news. Look, here's the thing. Some of those who have come out against Pete Hegseth are loyal Trump people. So, let's be clear about that, right? In fact, there was a former top Defense Department spokesperson who published an op-ed in Politico on Sunday, writing this: the last month has been a full-blown meltdown at the Pentagon, and it's becoming a real problem for the administration. So if you cause Donald Trump problems, that's the way out. Okay, that's how you get kicked out.
Get the out of my house!
That's it. That's what happens. And so what's different now than the previous Trump administration is how quickly in that first administration there were people that were getting kicked out. Now, yeah, there were already people that were fired, that were kicked out, but a lot of that happened to have been planned in order to replace them with actual loyalists. But what's different now is seeing some of the loyalists maybe on their way out as well. Of course. And now, the person who talked about the full-blown meltdown was former Chief Pentagon spokesperson John Ulyat. He resigned last week. On Friday, he writes, Hegseth fired 3 of his most loyal senior staffers, Senior Advisor Dan Caldwell, Deputy Chief of Staff Darren Selnick, and Colin Carroll, Chief of Staff to the Deputy Secretary of Defense, for, get this, leaking sensitive information. Oh, the irony. The irony. Wow. You gotta love that. Since this guy's leaking all over the place with Signal, inviting Jeffrey Goldberg, okay, a reporter, into his private Signal chats. Oh, and he's going to fire somebody else for leaking? Oh, hilarious. Absolutely hilarious. Now, in Congress, Representative Don Bacon, a Nebraska Republican on the House Armed Services Committee, was like, that's it, I'm done. You fire him. Fire him now. Here's his statement, quote, I had concerns from the get-go because Pete Hegseth didn't have a lot of experience. I like him on Fox. Yeah, because he's a talking head. There's no, big way to really mess that up. But you put him in charge of an actual real department, well, that's when there are problems. But he continues by saying, does he have the experience to lead one of the largest organizations in the world? That's a concern. I'm not in the White House, he continued, and I'm not going to tell the White House how to manage this, but I find it unacceptable, and I wouldn't tolerate it if I was in charge, Bacon said. And He added that other GOP lawmakers have expressed similar concerns and said that if these recent reports are true, then yes, Hegseth should resign. He added, there's a lot of smoke coming out of the Pentagon, and I gotta believe there's some fire there somewhere. Yeah, I mean, yes, maybe somebody should try to put it out before it burns everything down. But no, that's not going to happen. Look, here's the thing. This guy should have never been confirmed. 50 Senate Republicans did confirm him. The only Republicans who did not were Suzanne Collins, Lisa Murkowski, and Mitch McConnell? Yes, Mitch McConnell. Even he was like, no, that guy's a freaking moron. Do not confirm it. No, what are you guys doing? Look, they all knew that he would be an absolute disaster. And it says something when even Mitch McConnell is a no vote. They had to get J.D. Vance in there to break the tie. So obviously he was very controversial from the get-go. And despite that, Trump saying that he's still backing the guy, I don't know about that. It really does feel like his days are numbered. Now, of course, they're going to try to probably do it in a way that, saves Trump's face. Because, again, that's what Donald Trump's worried about. I got to save face. So, I don't know, getting him to resign, convincing him to resign to where, oh, I feel like I can do better in this or with this, or I need to spend time with my family. It'll be some BS excuse, but it'll be pushed from the top because at some point, Trump's going to be like, all right, that's it. I can't handle this. I can't handle the negative stuff, the negative press, and the negative headlines that you are causing me. I got to let you go. We'll see when that happens. Okay. Moving on. A Fox News guest has a message for people who happen to be worried about their retirement. Shut up and put your trust in the man that has went bankrupt 6 times. That's right. Private equity fund manager Grant Cardone went on Fox News, Laura Ingraham, to go and attack viewers who may have been concerned about the recent losses in the stock market for their 401k plans.
Let's keep this real. Donald Trump has plan A, one plan, make America great again. There is no other plan. And the short-term traders or the pundits on TV that are watching Wall Street, look, guys, this is beyond your pay plan. This man is a master at negotiating. This is in negotiations at global levels that we've never seen before. He's transparent, he's authentic, he knows what he's doing, and he will make America great again. So you guys that are at home and you're worried about your 401k, your IRA, or you traders out there or bankers that are worried about your commissions, just step aside. This is not the time for Monday, quarterbacking. You're not in the game. President Donald Trump is. You've underestimated him over and over, and you're doing the same thing this time.
It's not time for Monday money something quarterbacking. But I'm trying to be relatable here, okay? No, you're a hedge fund guy and you're a Scientologist. Sit the F down and shut up, okay? You're not worried about your 401k. Guaranteed. If you're paying for your religion to purge your body thetans, whatever the F that is, you're probably not worried about your 401k. So shut up. Okay? Massive cope. Look, this is after Donald Trump's disastrous tariffs had crashed the market. On Monday, stocks took a huge hit, with the Dow Jones Industrial Average dropping 971.82 points, or about 2.48%. Doesn't sound like much, but that's a lot of money. The S&P 500 fell 2.36%. The Nasdaq Composite lost 2.55. See, I don't know. I think the way the stock market's supposed to work is supposed to go up, line go up, not line go down. Because when line go down, that's bad. Well, that's what happens with Donald Trump. His line go down, and it's been going down quite a bit. And it's not just rich people's stocks, which I don't really care. It is people's retirements, though. They're losing money, and there is a concern that there's a lot of people that will not be able to afford to retire now, which, hey, welcome to being a millennial. None of us are ever planning on retiring. We're not going to be able to. I'm going to be here till I'm 85 and keel over on the set, okay? That's probably what's going to happen because we do not have retirement here. We cannot afford it. It's not a thing that is available to people like us, to average people. But anyway, funny enough, this whole losing a whole bunch of money, the stock market on 401ks, it's got the baby boomers that are now up in arms against Donald Trump. I never thought I would stand side by side with the boomers, but here they are. According to a survey conducted between March 9th and March 11th, 49% of people over 65 approved of Donald Trump's performance as president, while 48% disapproved, giving him a net approval rating of +1. The same survey conducted between March 16th and March 18th, so not very long, found his net approval rating have dropped by 10 points to -9. In that survey, only 45% of people over 65 approved of the job that Trump was doing, while 54% disapprove. So, disaster. When asked about how Trump is handling the economy, the more recent survey found that his net approval rating on the issue had dropped to -14, with just 42% approving and 56% disapproving. Now, it's not just, of course, the stock market that's pissing off the boomers. It's also, you got Doge gutting Social Security, Musk calling it a Ponzi scheme. And so all that stuff has gotten the boomers to be like, oh, wait a minute. Yo, this is not good. I'm not happy about this. Good. Welcome. Hey, you know what? I will fight alongside anyone who is going to go after Donald Trump and defeat fascism. So that said, back to Fox News, where now Laura Ingraham is going to take her turn.
So it's almost like if there is no recession by summer, then aren't all these doomsdayers going to look really stupid, Grant?
Well, yes, absolutely they will. And he has predicted over and over what would happen here. Look, he's bringing China to the table. This is going to be great for America. There will be a contraction, and the difference is we've been in contraction for a long period of time. Joe Biden just lied it. The entire administration lied over and over about how good a shape the economy was in. Remember, we were hiring 40% of all the jobs were coming from the government. They're slicing and dicing jobs with the government today. They're going to get his way on the tariffs. He's going to cut taxes in the next 3 to 4 weeks. America is going to go into a great prosperity. There might be a contraction temporarily, but it's good times ahead for the American families.
Yeah. Okay. No, I love how she's like, they're going to look real stupid if we don't have a recession by summer. I mean, I don't want a recession. Nobody wants a recession. But what we're doing is we're pointing out that Trump is taking us in that direction with these ridiculous tariffs. That's kind of the problem. But he's like, oh, no, we're bringing China to the table with 145% tariffs. Are you kidding me? Oh, it's going to be great for America. Oh, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be tremendous. Yeah. No, you're not in the real world. Obviously, you're a Scientologist, so you don't believe in objective reality. Yes, yeah, I'm taking shots at Scientology. What now? Okay. But look, here's the thing. The economy was better under Biden. Now, that doesn't mean that it was amazing or that the gains were equally distributed, okay? Because they weren't. The rich got much richer after COVID. That's very important to point out. Now, that said, as far as the economy goes, it was at least stable, okay? Yes, it was going in the wrong direction. Yes, rich people were getting much, much richer. Lower class people, middle class people, working class were kind of getting left behind, but that has been a trend for at least the last 20, 30 years. So Biden hadn't really been able to do anything to reverse that trend because, for one, he's not necessarily a king, does not have kingly powers to switch that. And a lot of the stuff that he had tried that would have an impact, like, I don't know, student loan forgiveness, that kind of thing. Yes, even with $20,000 of student loan forgiveness, that would have made a huge difference in the lives of a lot of people. But wasn't able to do that, wasn't able to raise the minimum wage to a living wage. And so, yeah, we're kind of stuck. All right. Things weren't great then, but it's much worse now. There is an economic contraction. There is inflation that continues to get worse. The damage done by Donald Trump's tariffs is not going to be easy to undo. Deals for things like soybeans, for example, and corn. Yes, where we actually sell a lot of that stuff to China. Well, China's not buying anymore. They're going to new suppliers, like Brazil, for example. That's going to impact farmers, as well as the end of U.S. aid, as well as the freezing of the funds at USDA. Both of those agencies would constantly buy goods, agricultural products from farmers. Now, they don't have those buyers anymore. So now what? They're kind of screwed. And so there you go. Look, American farmers losing out. American citizens losing out. People with retirements losing out. So there's a good chance, by the way, that any deal that Trump might make won't come fast enough to undo the amount of damage that has been caused economically to this country. And so, no, I don't see good times coming for American families. In fact, it's probably going to be more years of just trying to fix the things that Trump has broken. And so here we go again. That said, there will be some good times for the ultra wealthy. Oh, of course, because they're going to get massive tax cuts. They're going to use that windfall probably to buy up small farms and properties that have been foreclosed on. And then, of course, they're going to rent them back out to the people. Yeah, we're going to go back to serfdom, folks. I see that coming. Okay. And pretty soon, this guy will probably be up on Fox News. That happens. And be like, oh, don't worry about it. You will own nothing and you will love it. Because that's who these people are. He literally admitted there's going to be a recession, call it a contraction or something, but he did say it. That's true. That's true. He did. That's a really good point. And just let me add.
Oh my God! He admitted!
There you go. So great insight in noticing that, by the way. All right. There is a plateau to how much money can buy. To get more money above that is a waste. What's the point of being so sickly rich? Can't take it with you after you die. True. Live it up and enjoy life to the max and leave us common folks alone instead of making our lives harder. You know what? From your mouth to God's ears, or whatever that saying is, even though I don't believe in God. But I think that, yes, I agree with you 100% on that. When you amass so much wealth, I feel like it's a sickness. Like, it is a sickness. Like, when you hoard all that money to the detriment of everyone else around you, your communities, whatever, yeah, that's a sickness. And I mean, I wish I knew how to fix that other than we should saying we should tax them, but we actually have to have a government that is willing to do so, that is not bought by those same interests. So you see the problem that we run into. Anyway, let's move on to RFK Jr. And the brainworm. Secretary of Health and Human Services, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is apparently looking to do some eugenics. Yes, against people with autism. On Sunday, he likened autism to an epidemic and claimed that it is far worse to have autism than to have COVID-19. Now, COVID-19 has killed millions of people. I don't think anybody has died from autism. Okay. Now, he also claimed that the pure economic cost of autism will cost the United States $1 trillion a year in lost productivity by 2035. So his perspective, of course, is all economic. It's a neurotypical economic perspective that boils people's worth down to how productive they are for someone else, how good they are at making money for rich people. So, oh, great. F this guy already. So he says this: autism affects children and affects them at the beginning of their lives, the beginning of their productivity. It dwarfs the COVID epidemic and the impacts on our country because COVID killed old people. COVID didn't just kill old people. I'm just going to say that. It didn't just kill old people. All right. Now, he added that autism is absolutely debilitating for them, their families, their communities. There are kids who will never pay taxes. They'll never hold a job. They'll never play baseball. They'll never write a poem. They'll never go out on a date. Many of them will never use a toilet unassisted. Okay, that is definitely not true. There are plenty of autistic people who hold jobs, pay taxes, go on dates, get married, live fulfilling lives. All right, so you're just BSing on that one. And by the way, even if you don't work, even if you're nonverbal, you can still live a good, fulfilling life. Basically, he's just basing all of this on how autism affects him, okay, and other neurotypical people. That's the perspective here. He's saying that they're inconvenient. And when you start saying things like that, it's not a long road to get to where they should be eliminated, okay? You can't get rid of autism. You're not going to get rid of autism, but what you will do if you go down that road is get rid of autistic people, and that is eugenics. That is eugenics. Elizabeth McClellan, an autistic poet and attorney, called RFK Jr.'s remarks, quote, useless eaters rhetoric, which is a eugenicist idea used by the Nazis in 1930s to dehumanize and eventually murder disabled people. Oh, because they're eaters. Oh, okay. Now, RFK Jr. has also suggested that autism is a result of environmental factors and vaccines, which it is not. That Wakefield study has been debunked so many different times. It's essentially a zombie study that the anti-vaxxers keep bringing back. And what it says also is that they would rather have children that are dead, or, and this point I don't think gets harped on enough as well, a lot of these childhood diseases can permanently disable someone for the rest of their lives. Okay? They would rather have that and the chance of being permanently disabled by some of these old-timey diseases they keep bringing back than to have an autistic child who may need a little bit more help and a little bit more understanding than the average neurotypical kid. Oh, yeah. Now, RFK Jr. said, well, no, I'm not talking about all autistic people, of course, just the ones that have the profound autism. He said, quote, many of these kids are aging out and their parents worry every day. And I'm talking about people with severe autism. Look, it's a spectrum, okay? But he calls that profound autism, which is about 26% of the total people who are diagnosed with autism. Those families, those children are nonverbal, they're non-toilet trained. They have all the stereotypical features of autism: head banging, toe walking, stimming, agonizing gut pain, and head banging. Once again, bringing up the head banging. Those kids are kids that will not hold jobs. Oh, so that's what you're worried about. Oh, they're not going to be productive, and make money for for a capitalist. Oh, great. Hey, you know what? Those kids should be able to get the therapies and things that will actually help them to live fulfilling lives. Yes, there are different strategies. There are different programs that that are created to help people with autism live good lives. That's what we should be focused on, helping them. But no, that is not what RFK Jr. is about. Look, they need love, understanding, acceptance for being different. They're not getting that with RFK Jr. Okay. So now, that said, he got a ton of flack for these ridiculous statements, rightfully so. In fact, Autism Society of America president and CEO Christopher Banks said in response to these comments, quote, "Autism is not an epidemic, nor should it be compared to the COVID-19 pandemic, and using language like that perpetuates falsehoods, stigma, and stereotypes." Gwen Walz, wife of Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, said this, quote, "This is deeply unsettling, especially coming from our nation's highest-ranking health official. Individuals with autism are family, neighbors, students, and coworkers, and they contribute more to this nation than this man ever will." Yeah, especially contributing something positive, okay? I'm not seeing anything positive now out of RFK Jr. To say this kind of crap about people with autism or who are neurodivergent is just absolutely disgusting. As an neurodivergent person myself, I have ADHD. Most of the people that I interact with on a daily basis, friends, family members, they're neurodivergent as well. And they're some of the best, brightest, and most empathetic and honest people that you could ever imagine, oftentimes to a fault. Okay? To say this, it's disgusting. It's just absolutely disgusting, and I hate it. Now, he also claimed that there were no older autistic adults out there, which is, again, not true at all. Odds are they never got diagnosed, but they're absolutely out there. Again, this is genetic. So it exists in families. Their health outcomes have been studied for years. According to Mother Jones, autistic elderly people are at a greater risk than the general population for a range of different health conditions, including cardiovascular and metabolic disease, and they're also more likely to suffer from anxiety and depression. Older autistic adults also report loneliness at higher rates than the general population. Now, wait a minute, you might ask, doesn't that mean that RFK Jr. might have a little bit of a point? No. Current research suggests that many of them could benefit from the social services and support they do not currently receive. So that's it. That's one of the big changes here. We have failed older autistic generations, and we were finally starting to get things right in that regard as far as serving and helping autistic kids. But then the brainworm had to come in and ruin everything. This guy knows so little about autism and autistic adults, and that's, of course, because of the people that he hangs around. People like Dr. Walter Zarodny, who has collaborated with researchers and groups who deal with pseudoscience. For example, he appeared in a 2018 video produced by Safe Minds, a group that has suggested that mercury in the vaccines causes autism. It doesn't. And regularly works with Kennedy's anti-vax group, Children's Health Defense. In 2020, he also co-authored a study of autism rates in Black and Hispanic children with Cynthia Navizin, a University of Colorado climate scientist who is also a contributor to the Children's Health Defense. In addition, he appeared on a 2020 episode of the podcast produced by the National Council on Severe Autism, which has come under fire for its support of the use of restraints for autistic people. That is extremely inhumane. Using restraints against their will. No, this whole thing feels like eugenics, with the addition, of course, the demonization of vaccines. There's no real link to that. But look, the result of all this is going to harm the most vulnerable people, not just kids who are going to get sick and die from childhood diseases because of the anti-vax. That's already happening. Look at Texas and other places. But also those with autism will get demonized and stigmatized as well, and will no longer be able to access the help that they deserve. And so that's the result of all this stuff. And it's an incredibly unfortunate direction for us to head. I mean, you think we were failing autistic people before. Now we're failing them even more. Okay. Oh, is it like Ron Vera, the expert Navarro invented? Yeah, probably, but I'm not sure. Might actually be a real person, because there are real people that have really stupid opinions. Okay. What did RFK Jr. do before joining Trump? What was his thing? His thing was anti-vax. So, yeah. All right. Last story for y'all. 6 men who forcibly dragged a woman out of a town hall in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, have been charged with a crime. The city attorney's office has filed charges against the 6 men involved in the forced removal of a protester. Teresa Borenpaul was removed from a February meeting by men in plain clothes after interrupting speakers at a Republican town hall. Now, the people that arrested her, removed her, whatever, well, it's not even arrest, really. They were not police, okay? They did not have any official ability to arrest someone or detain someone or anything. And so they were not even licensed security. They were basically thugs. Thugs in plain clothes. That's it. Completely unaccountable, or so they thought. Not so much. It turns out, thanks to the outrage of the video of the removal that went viral, there were some consequences. Imagine that. Now, several days after the video was posted to social media, the business license for the private security firm Lear Asset Management was revoked for violating city ordinances regarding security agencies, according to the Coeur d'Alene Police Department. Now, the attorney's office of the city on Friday also shared the names of the involved men and the listed charges with Idaho News 6. Let me read that to you. Now, Paul Truett, along with Alex Truett, I'm not sure if they're brothers or whatever, but they both were charged with battery, false imprisonment, security agent uniform violation, and securities agent duties violations. Russell Dunn, Jesse Jones, and Christopher Burge have all been hit with battery, false imprisonment, security agent uniform violation, and security agent duties violation. And Michael Keller was hit with battery charge. So now, Teresa Borenpaul had also initially faced a battery charge as she was getting dragged out, but that was later dropped by the Coeur d'Alene Police Department after reviewing the footage. And they were like, oh, well, looks like she was just defending herself there from 6, random thugs that were coming in and dragging her out of this town hall. Good. But that's not all, by the way. Borenpaul also filed notice of a tort claim on Monday with the Kootenai County Clerk, asserting that this group of thugs, men, which she says includes Kootenai County Sheriff Robert Norris and a private security company hired for the event, violated her constitutional rights. Following the event, she said, "I could have never imagined my right to free speech and my right to assemble could be stripped in such a violent way. Due to the sensitivity and shock of the matter, I'm unable to speak in this situation immediately, but I will make my voice heard when the time is appropriate. So that was right after the event. Now she put out a new statement where she said town halls are intended to foster conversation and discourse across the aisle, which is why I'm deeply alarmed that private security dragged me out of the public meeting for simply exercising my fundamental right of free speech. That's right. Turns out that no, being annoying, as I guess they thought that she was, or being disruptive by saying things that that the people holding this event disagree with. Turns out that is not a valid reason to have 6 thugs literally come and manhandle you out. Okay? And look, we don't have free speech. Let's be very, very clear. Free speech has been curtailed for some time. I mean, you got people getting dragged out of town halls. You have protesters that are getting their visas stripped for having an opinion against genocide. That does not sound like a country in which free speech is honored. I'm just saying. If you're somebody who openly challenges powerful people, like this woman did, well then, yes, the thugs are going to come for you. The only people with guaranteed free speech right now are the ones that are in charge. That's the far right. That said, she's suing for $5 million in damages, and I hope she wins and shuts down this very pro-fascist security group. I think that would be a pretty good end to this story. Is that knitting needles in her hands? I'm not entirely sure. No, it's those are flex cuffs. You can look and see very, very clearly that those are flex cuffs, which are used to detain people. So she was getting flex cuffed, handcuffed, essentially, as she was getting dragged out. You know, like some sort of common criminal. Absolutely disgusting and ridiculous. Okay, so that's all I've got today. Before I go, I do want to read a couple of super chats here from VMan29397. It said Doge was based off the PROMISE Act signed in 2016 by President Barack Obama. Every bad neoliberal idea tried by the GOP was tested in Puerto Rico by the local statehood conservative, pro-statehood conservative politicians. Yeah, I mean, that is unsurprising. We do have disastrously bad neoliberal politicians that pass very disastrously bad. Remember, Obama did at one point try to put Social Security cuts on the table back in 2014. So Obama, not exactly, I don't really consider him the best progressive ally because, no, he was actually quite neoliberal / pro-business / conservative during his presidency. That's why a lot of people are disappointed or have been disappointed in him. And by the way, VMan29397 also says, I have a theory that RFK Jr.'s brain was fried during the protests back in 2001. He ran into the bombing site where the toxic waste was. I'd have to read more about that and see, because I don't remember that. He did do some, I mean, RFK Jr. did do some good activism, like, you know, like doing something about climate change and that stuff back in the day. But I don't know. I think the brainworm like ate that part of his brain, because now he's just going along with the far right and the fascists. And that is, and that right there is clear indication that most of his brain is gone. Okay. Has been eaten by the worm, who then eventually starved to death. So there you go. I did see that they were zip ties. Yeah, it's flex cuffs is what they're officially called, but yeah. All right. That's it. Thank you, by the way, VMan29397 for those very kind super chats. Appreciate that. It's one way that you can, of course, support the show. There are other ways that you can do so, and that is by signing up to become a member on YouTube or on Facebook. You can subscribe to us on Facebook. All that wonderful stuff, because I post a lot of videos. I'll post a lot of reels as well there. Yeah, some of them actually did pretty good. So yeah, you can sign up, help us out. Really appreciate that. Or become a patron. I definitely suggest Patreon, but it's so that these companies, Google and Alphabet, Meta, don't actually get a cut. So more of that money ends up going to supporting the channel, and not like these other companies. So just FYI, if you want to sign up, it's patreon.com/jeffwaldorf. All right. That's it. Thank you all. We will see you hopefully back here tomorrow, same time, same place as always. Take care of yourselves, your families, and your communities. Love you all, and try to have a good day.